Hello, welcome to United Weekly. I'm ALEXI. With me is Jay, and we are just going to be discussing the transfer window, everything that's transpired for Manchester United so far, and obviously we're here for deadline day as well for the last hour of the official transfer window, which closes at 11 p.m. tonight. So, looking at, I'm just gonna be looking away from the camera for a minute, guys.
That's right.
Just looking at the ins and outs. So our total spend is 214 million, which is double what was originally thought to be the transfer budget. What do we think about this transfer window? Like, if you have to give it a grade out of 10, or you can go with it. No, let's not do that. Let's go.
Yeah,
with,
no, I was going to say, no, do it out of 10, because I've been thinking about this.
Okay, you do it out of 10, and I'll do it as a as a different grade. Because I was thinking like a B minus.
I think we should do it out of 10, only because I've been thinking about it all day.
Okay.
So
you go with that, and I'll think about mine then.
Alright then, because I'm in two frames of mind here, and I'm going to give two different grades. Okay. One is I'm going to grade the transfer window.
Let's keep it complicated. Yeah, go on.
No, it's not that complicated. Yeah. One I'm going to I'm going to rate the transfer window. The other one is I'm going to rate the transfers.
Yeah, okay.
Because I think in United's case, this needs to be said.
Yeah.
I'm going to rate the transfers first. Okay. Anthony, Casemiro, Martinez, Malacia, Ericsson, Dubravka. That's a 9 out of 10. In terms of players we brought in, that's a 9 out of 10.
Yeah.
We have strengthened in the positions we needed to strengthen in. Would I like another midfielder? Yes. But, that being said, Casemiro Fred or Casemiro Ericsson, even Casemiro McTominay, like, it works. Casemiro is the cement between the bricks. Anthony is going to be brilliant, I know it. Martinez has shown, especially in the last 3 games, he's brilliant. Ericsson has been a complete and utter engine room workhorse. Malacia has overtaken Luke Shaw. And, Dubravka is the only one, for me, that sits on the bench. Yeah. Because he's brought in to be a backup goalkeeper. The rest...
officially, he's been brought in as competition, isn't he?
Well, yeah, but to me, he's the only one I can't see. Like, put it this way, all of those players, if they were on the team sheet today, you'd be like, yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
If Dubravka was starting ahead of De Gea, say against Arsenal on Sunday, you'd be like, oh, that could be risky. The rest, they just fit right in. So the players have brought in 9 out of 10. The window as a whole, 4 out of 10. Because we've done so many deals too late. We had only signed Ericsson and Malacia by the time the Premier League had started.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got Martinez, I think, the day after our first game. I think. But yeah, I know it was Ericsson and Malacia that were definitely... And at that point, it's like... Where... I can only really blame the board because Anthony was definitely on Erik ten Hag's list. All right, Casemiro probably wasn't. No one would ever think he was going to... I didn't know he was going to leave Real Madrid. So that's a good deal, yes. Martinez was on Ten Hag's list. I guarantee it. If it wasn't Timber, he wanted Martinez. He wanted one of the two. Maybe he wanted Timber more to start with because he's young and he can build him.
Yeah.
But
yeah, probably.
The prices we have paid is ridiculous. 85.5 million for Anthony when he's a £50 million striker. He's 22 and played in the Eredivisie. I'm sure he's going to be great. And then maybe in a year or two's time, we're going to be like, oh, he was so worth 85.5 million. But it still stands that if we would have gone in for him in June, it may have been a different story. The reason we paid...
Probably would have been a lot closer to about 60 million.
Yeah, the reason we paid so much for him is because it left Ajax very little to no time at all to be able to replace him.
Yeah.
And I think that what United have done is said, like, they've gone in and said, we'll give you 40 million. And they've gone, no, we want 65. And they've gone, okay, let us think about that. Because we are a one deal at a time team. Spurs had half their signings done within the first week or two.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just, thankfully Malacia didn't cost us much. Thankfully that was a reasonable transfer. 13.5 million, probably about right for Malacia. Yeah. Although, in a year's time he could be worth triple that. So.
Well, considering we paid, what was it? Nearly 50 million for Wan-Bissaka?
Yeah.
Like, Malacia is already leagues ahead, and he cost, like, 1/5 of the price.
Yeah, exactly. I think Martinez, 50 is probably a little bit much, but, that's not too bad. It, could have been worse.
The way he's played the last 3 games, compared to the 85 million we spent on Maguire.
Yeah. I mean, ignoring performance. Just 50 million. Yeah, it's okay.
Casemiro, I can't argue with.
No, I can because he's 30.
Yeah. See. Yeah. I still can't argue with it because it's not like he's not like 30 and going downhill. He's 30 and was starting week in, week out for Real Madrid. And
also he's already shown that he's world class. So.
And the only reason that he left Real Madrid is because he was like, look, I've won everything here. I just want to try something different.
Yeah. And Real Madrid already had cover.
And I think, I believe that he still had, 2-3 years left on his contract?
Yeah.
So the price... Yeah, maybe you could have got that down. Like, if you'd have done it early enough, maybe you could have got that down to 50 million. But, and also rating the transfer window, I said I rated it 4 out of 10, is because as of now, on the graphic on the screen I know is wrong because Jimmy Garner has, I think, moved to Everton now for 15 million.
Yeah.
So our net spend is actually 190.5 million, but our total outs, if you include the 15 million, is 23.5 million out. And I'm sorry, but alright, we knew Pogba, Lingard, Matic, Cavani and Mata were going. We knew Grant was going to retire, but Tellez should have been sold. Henderson probably should have been sold. Bailly should have been sold. Then you've got Jones, Wan-Bissaka. I can't really think right now, but
McTominay or Fred.
Well, yeah, and like there was money there that if we would have gone in early and said, right, we want to get rid of these players, that could have freed up a bit more money. Also, I will say, and whether this is Ten Hag's fault or the board's fault or whoever's, we spent far too long on De Jong.
Yeah, it's not Ten Hag's fault because he wanted De Jong.
And I think De Jong said he would come as well.
And it's the club who failed to get him.
Yeah, because I think De Jong would have said to him, like, there's no way Ten Hag didn't have a conversation with De Jong.
Yeah.
So I don't think Ten Hag would waste time chasing a player if that player didn't want to come. For whatever reason, that's not worked out. But that is, honestly, if we didn't get Casemiro, I would be raving right now.
Our midfield would be so awful.
Our midfield wouldn't really have changed.
Well, no, just Eriksen.
But Eriksen's not even the position we need him in. But luckily enough, he's been playing that number 8 role really well.
Yeah, he's that good. He's that quality of a player that he can just slot into that role. Also, a few minutes ago, official statement confirmed from Depay. He's decided to stay at Barcelona.
Oh, really?
So, yep. So Memphis is staying put. Which, okay, that's fine. Yeah, 4 minutes ago. Yeah, Barcelona message is clear. They don't expect Memphis Depay or Pjanic to leave in the next hour. Depay will not join Chelsea. Never been close. That's according to Fabrizio Romano.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
because I didn't think they could afford to keep him, which makes me wonder why was Jules Koundé then not signed, not registered.
not registered. Yeah.
And if I don't know, maybe I'm speaking out of line here. I need to check now, but I don't think he has been registered yet.
Oh my God, Forest have signed another player.
Yeah, they signed Serge Aurier, didn't they?
Yeah, and Loic Bade on loan with Wild
Oh
from
no,
Rennes.
Jules Koundé has been registered because he played in their last game. He played as a right back.
Yeah, well, they haven't signed Aurier yet. They've got to wait on a visa and a work permit.
But for those that don't know about the transfer window, that doesn't matter too much because as long as the paperwork has been filed to the Premier League.
Yeah. I'm just saying. I'm
talking
yet,
to the broader audience of people that may listen.
Yeah. Official confirmed. Espanyol signed Braithwaite on free transfer, 3-year contract. Justin Kluivert is now in Valencia to sign on loan, 15 million from Roma.
Yeah, I mean, now that Depay's decided to stay, I don't see us signing anyone unless there's some weird last minute crazy transfer or attempt
which happens. I mean,
for Gakpo or someone like that.
Yeah, I mean, we signed Berbatov in the last 2 hours of that transfer window.
We did, but the difference is that we knew hours before we were going to because he was travelling to Manchester. Whereas now there's unless they're keeping it on the hush hush, which the amount the club's memos leak more than the stadium does. So
yeah,
the fact I don't see us signing anyone now.
No. How crazy is it that Aubameyang has joined Chelsea now as well?
To be honest with you,
I mean, it sparks of desperation from Chelsea because they're so bloody awful at the moment.
Yeah, and to be honest with you,
they're so bad.
To be honest with you, Aubameyang since he left Dortmund just hasn't been Aubameyang. He had flashing moments for Arsenal, and then when he joined Barca, he had flashing moments. But I'm not that worried. I'm not concerned about Aubameyang.
Oh no! I'm just saying it's mental that he's gone from Arsenal last year to Barca, spent one season there, and now he's moved to Chelsea.
Not even one season. Didn't he go in January?
No. Oh, yeah. Season and a half even. Yeah.
Well, won it half. How long was he at Barca for? I could have sworn he went this January. Oh, Aubameyang.
No, it was.
Was it a season and a half?
I think so.
I mean, he's also 33 years old, so.
Yeah, I mean, I could be completely wrong, but because it's been a weird year for me. So.
Yeah, no, he went to Barcelona in January.
Okay, so he's been there he spent half a season at Barca, and
and then he left
Chelsea. Okay,
and he went to Barcelona. Does it say?
Yeah.
The deal had a. He went to Barcelona. It doesn't say how much for. But he went with a deal that includes a $100 million buyout clause, and I'm pretty sure they terminated his contract.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they did. They couldn't. There's no way they could afford him. Artur Milo was complete medical signed contract with the Liverpool player.
Yeah.
Yeah. Zakaria, Chelsea as well. It's a bit no one's talking about the desperation of these other clubs, are they?
No.
When United do it, it's all desperation. When Liverpool and Chelsea do it, oh look, they bought a player. Fekir is not joining Barcelona. No negotiations ongoing with Batiste as things stand.
I mean, it's like I said. I rate the players they've brought in as a 9 out of 10. I'm happy if the window. I just kind of at this point now just want the window to end, so we can focus who we have,
and just the games.
Yeah, and
get on with football.
There's a few things I'll say. Ronaldo is definitely staying.
Oh yeah,
But
100%.
I wouldn't be surprised to see him go in January.
Yeah, I mean, I think. Well, if Martial comes back, gets fit again, and actually plays for like I say half a season, from whenever until the World Cup, and then is fit in January still. I think we could see Ronaldo go and someone else, maybe Gakpo, then comes in January. Don't know.
Yeah.
Or someone like that. But I don't know. I think there's every chance Ronaldo will go in January because he'll still want to play Champions League football this season. I don't know where he'd go, honestly. Maybe there's a Champions League club out there that their star striker gets out for the rest of the season, and then so he goes there on a 6-month deal or something. Who knows? Or God forbid we loan out Ronaldo.
Yeah.
Which could happen. God knows. So yeah, I mean, I pretty much agree with your ratings. To be honest, I think the players that we bought in, class as they are, and I think I think Malacia and Martinez have already shown they've got more guts and more quality than Lindelof, than Shaw, than Maguire. I don't want to say Bailly because Bailly always fought hard. He just wasn't really given a good chance to play for various reasons. Whether that was being left out or injuries. I think Eriksen is just. I mean, we knew what we were getting with Eriksen. He's just a top class midfielder who's Premier League proven and will continue to perform.
Yeah.
I think Dubravka's a solid backup for De Gea. Wouldn't be surprised if we bought him in January or the summer, just as a Romero Part 2 sort of thing.
Yeah. And obviously, Ten Hag's a different kind of manager, but it'll be interesting to see when the Europa League rolls around, whether he'll go with Dubravka for cup games, De Gea for the league, because that's always worked really well for us.
Well, I think I think with the level of opposition in the Europa League, I think we'll see Dubravka a lot, or Heaton. Maybe Dubravka and Heaton will share those games in the group stage. Maybe Heaton will play those games against that team that I know.
Heaton was never. No,
was it?
I disagree with that. I think Heaton's never a backup goalkeeper. Heaton.
I know he's not.
Yeah.
No, he's not. But I think where's that team? That Cyprus. That team from Cyprus, whose name I've forgotten.
Omasia, something like that.
Yeah, something like that. I think he might play. I think Heaton might play those games. Because
I think if we win our first 5 Europa League games and then the sixth one is nothing matters what happens, and we'll play Heaton. But Heaton was brought in. Honestly, I think was just brought in to be the third goalkeeper, to kind of his experience, coach a little bit kind of thing maybe. Yeah, especially for the younger keepers like Kovar that we've got, who was on the bench today.
Yeah, he's got vast Premier League experience, hasn't he? So
yeah, but it's kind of like Lee Grant, he was brought in mainly to be a coach, and when he was on the bench, it's kind of like, oh Jesus, because as good as a keeper as he was, the level he played, he's not a United goalkeeper, and I feel the same about Tom Heaton, which is why I'm glad we've gone for Dubravka. Henderson for me. Honestly, I think he's a good keeper. I think he's way overhyped.
Yeah, I think he's a solid Premier League goalkeeper. Just trying to think of what's his name that plays for Everton, the England goalkeeper?
Pickford.
Yeah, I think he's on a similar level to Pickford, but you see, Pickford's very good for England. And he's not very good for Everton.
See, for me, if we're talking about goalkeepers, let's talk about English goalkeepers. For me, let's say we're going to the World Cup. You usually take 3 keepers. Henderson doesn't make that top 3. For me, it is the starting keeper is Ramsdale.
Yeah, Ramsdale.
And I don't know why he hasn't started sooner. Then it's Pickford. Then it's Pope.
Yeah.
And then it's Henderson.
Yeah, I mean, if Henderson's gonna concede a lot of goals this season just because he's playing for Forest, so that's gonna happen. But that doesn't mean he can't have a good season.
No,
So,
and Forest
yeah.
is probably the place he needs to be, but he should have been there for money. Because at the end of the day, like, I'm not being funny, but yes, we're gonna have to replace our keeper probably in a couple of years. De Gea isn't a play out the back kind of keeper. We're gonna need like an Alisson or an Edison type keeper.
Yeah, we're gonna have to spend a good 60-70 million on a top class goalkeeper.
But the difference between
don't know who that
Henderson can play with the ball at his feet, right? He can.
Yeah.
But the difference between say him and an Alisson and Edison is that Alisson and Edison are also shot stoppers. Henderson's shown while playing for United that he's not that great when it comes to those shot stopping or positioning. And I think back to that Liverpool game where, and then things like that. Like it's the simple things that should come naturally to a keeper. That sometimes he's a bit lackluster with. And to be a United goalkeeper, if we want United to get back to where we were, you can't settle for anything less than 10 out of 10.
No, you can't.
So,
official confirmed, James Garner is now an Everton player on a permanent deal for Manchester United. Bit disappointed because I think Garner shows a lot of potential. I think I wish him all the best, and I think he'll do very well at Everton. I don't know if we have like a first refusal or buyback clause or something.
I heard there is a buyback clause.
But I hope so because I think he's got the potential to turn into a, I mean, I don't know if he'll ever be as good as Casemiro, but, that sort of player where, he can take it off the back four, he can put his foot in, he's calm on the ball.
I think that's a stupid deal. But then again, it's a case of maybe
Ten Hag putting his mark on the club,
like maybe he just doesn't like. I've not really seen him play. I saw like the odd bit of highlights from a Nottingham Forest game last season, but I can't say I ever like studied him. And he couldn't even get into a game at pre-season. So maybe he's, for all we know, he could just be another Scott McTominay.
Well, I did no. I'd say it's definitely better than McTominay. I did watch some quite a few highlights of him last season.
Yeah,
played for Forest, and he had that kind of Michael Carrick style of shielding the back four and just playing it forwards, and obviously didn't have the range of passing that Carrick did, but who does?
But it's like, I mean, I can't say I know too much about him to more than seeing a few performances for the reserves and stuff like that. So, I have to trust in Ten Hag. It's his first season, and for him to just outright sell an academy player just means that's his way of saying you don't fit into my plans. And I think it's the same with Tellez and Bailly and probably even Henderson. That just doesn't fit into his plans, but because of the ludicrous contracts they're on, they can't sell them.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, I didn't notice that.
What's that?
Let me just hang on. Let me just click on this and.
Singles in your area.
Sorry. I don't know. Okay. No, never mind. Doesn't matter. No, I just saw this thing on Twitter, but it's not a thing. But what I did see was Anthony on his official Twitter tweeted out, "Let's go United," and he's watching the game at home.
Yeah.
On BT Sport 1 Live. So he was watching with us in spirit, I'm sure.
Yeah. And
Aston Villa also rejected yet another proposal from Arsenal for Douglas Luiz. Arsenal still have not left the negotiations, but it looks very complicated now with Aston Villa.
Yeah.
Apparently, 25 million was the latest offer. And Villa went, no.
Good defender, Douglas Luiz, but to be honest with you, like Arsenal look pretty solid from the back. So
yeah, well, so the players' camp are pushing for the move, but Villa are fighting to keep him. Fair enough.
But going back to United,
yeah,
and who we've bought and just our general window, like in terms of who we've got in, I would have loved a right back and another striker, but I think we have firmed up areas that needed to be firmed up, and there's even areas that we firmed up that maybe I didn't even believe needed to be firmed up. And I'm looking at like Malacia, like
yeah,
at the end of last season, I would have been like very much kind of like
Shaw and Tellez are absolutely fine.
Yeah, like,
but actually, Tellez was never really clicked, did he? To be honest,
no.
And Luke Shaw, whilst full of energy and running, and was always there. There were quite a few games where our left got exploited. So, was he ever really that good? Like, I don't know. I think Shaw and Maguire have both had good seasons for United, but having one good season doesn't make you a top class Man United player, does it? So
yeah. But that's the thing. It's like Luke Shaw. Don't get me wrong. I'm glad we've kept him.
Yeah.
Because with Luke Shaw, there's always that possibility of a resurgence. But the way Malacia has been these last 3 games, honestly, and like it's made Dalot better. They're complete opposite sides of the wing.
Yeah, and I didn't think we'd see Dalot be this good defensively, but he is.
Oh, he's brilliant. He's
brilliant, and his crossing is improving as well.
Yeah.
His attacking play is getting there, and he's 22 years old now, so he's plenty of years ahead of him.
Oh yeah, plenty. He bulks up a bit.
Yeah, exactly. And well, he definitely looks stronger than he did last season.
Oh, he does, yeah. And what I'm liking between United's defence is, and I said it during our live stream of the game today. Like Dalot made that block, and it went off the Leicester player and went out. And all of the back 4 are like celebrating like they've just scored. Yeah. It's that warlike sort of mentality, boosting each other up.
That's that sort of tribalism almost, like just doing this for Manchester United.
You never saw that with Harry Maguire.
No.
Like, and I just think that like, if for me, I'm gonna be honest, if Varane does stay fit, and now Ten Hag came in and he came in with this plan for Varane. This fitness plan to keep him fit. If he can stay fit all season, and I mean, obviously there'll be 1 or 2 games you're going to miss. There's a World Cup in over Christmas or before Christmas. But it's kind of mid-November till
December
the 17th, I think, is the final.
December 17th. So it's like I think it's just 4 weeks.
Yeah, but like if he stays fit, and I'm talking like, when you look at a top 4 team of any league, staying fit is being able to play 50 games a season.
Yeah, like starting 98% of your league games.
Yeah. Like if he can stay fit, then next season, I don't see why we don't give him the armband. Or if Bruno does continue to, mature, which he seems to.
I think Bruno's a solid captain, but I don't think he's the long-term choice. He's definitely maturing, and he is starting to kind of fit into that system. Like I said during the game, he's becoming more of a Xavi. Like he's keeping the carousel moving, isn't he? He's pass and move. He's getting into that. he's like I don't think Bruno's going to end up getting back to those levels of assists and goals that he had, when he came in, because we're playing a completely different style of football now.
Yeah.
Hopefully he can get that many assists because that means we're scoring a shitload of goals, which would be great. But I think more than anything, it just needs to be a link to our attackers, whether that's assisting or doing that kind of like he did today, that kind of secondary assist where he passes it into the player who gets the assist.
Yeah.
More of a team player rather than trying to get all the glory for himself with assist or goal. And I think Bruno is starting to mature a bit. And if I think we like with Casemiro coming in and Martinez and that. I think we've almost stumbled into a really solid unit now.
Yeah.
And stumbled with the help of Ten Hag, because I certainly wouldn't give any credit to the United board or anything like that, because if Ten Hag wasn't there, they wouldn't have a clue. So
the only team that frightened me is Man City, and that's mainly because of Haaland.
And also we've already beaten Liverpool, so here's to the Scousers, eh? Yeah.
But no, if Man City didn't have Haaland, I'd be like, right now, I think we could defend anyone. But
yeah,
and is different gravy.
Who knows? Who knows, man? Maybe Martinez and Varane between them can pocket Haaland, but then you've got the rest of the City squad.
Then again, if
stopping one player doesn't mean you can stop everyone else. So
yeah, but then again, if Tuanzebe can pocket Neymar, Mbappe, and Di Maria, then
on the same night,
then who knows?
Yeah.
Like,
who knows, man? And whatever happened to him, man? He's just gone forever.
Well, no, he's still in our squad, isn't he?
I know, but he's not really, is he?
Yeah, no, well, not in our squad, but he's still part of the team.
He'll never play for United again. I can guarantee you that.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate because I actually quite like him as a centre back.
Maybe in the Carabao Cup, but
yeah. Well, no, I mean he's not in our actual squad, is he, at the moment?
No, but even then it'll be Maguire and Lindelof probably.
Yep, and that's depressing. But I mean, against Championship teams and that, I think Maguire and Lindelof will be fine, but against Premier League teams, I just don't know. It's kind of scary to think about, actually. Just to move the conversation forwards a bit, who do you think is our best signing then? If you had to pick one, who's our best signing this summer?
Casemiro. Easily. Don't even have to think about it because it's something we've needed for, 5 years?
I would say, yeah. I'm tempted to say Martinez because it means Maguire isn't playing.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, but like, we have needed a
CDM basically since Carrick retired.
I think that when we got Casemiro, and I know he's only made 2 half an hour appearances, but he's been solid when he's come on.
Yeah, he's made one mistake so far.
Yeah, and it's like, I think to myself now, like, yeah, we can get top 4.
Yeah, with Casemiro in there, we can get top 4.
If we hadn't got Casemiro in, I'm like,
I
do not know how we keep up.
I think top 6 will be a struggle without Casemiro.
Yeah, Anthony is, he could be the best signing.
Well, he's sort of our replacement for Mason, isn't he?
Yeah, but he could be our best signing at the end of the season, or it could be that he's shown glimpses, but he needs to adapt. Kind of like Sancho. Like Sancho last season was terrible. This season he's looked really good, and he's scored a couple of goals.
Sancho was. I'd say last season Sancho wasn't terrible. It was the whole team was terrible, and he suffered because of it.
Yeah, but
as did everyone, really. I mean, Ronaldo really probably should have had 30 goals last season, but only got 20.
But
so,
like Martinez, I kind of knew what we'd get from Martinez, and I'm glad that he's, I felt that he was
showing it now. Yeah.
You know, he was wrongly dragged through the British press when it was clearly Maguire's issues and De Gea's issues that lost us those goals against Brentford. It was nothing to do with Martinez.
No.
But he was
brilliant. Brilliant tweet here. Thoughts on Eriksen's first 5 games at the club? Top answer. Simple things done brilliantly.
Yeah. But but I think for me the surprise best signing could end up being Malacia.
Yeah.
Because
I think he's got that Evra about him.
Yeah, and I mean I said it in No, I didn't say it in pre-season. I said it in his first game.
Yeah.
I think it must have been a Brighton game because I booked it in the bloody Bournemouth game. No, not Bournemouth, Brentford game. I was like, fuck this. But no, the Brighton game, we lost. But he looks. I think he came on, didn't he? And he looked so energetic, and he was winning the ball high up, and he was trying, and I was like, this kid reminds me of Evra.
Yeah.
And now, like, if you listen to like the pundits and stuff, they're like, oh, it reminds me of Evra. It's like, and that's what we've been missing. We haven't had really, like, I know Luke Shaw's had moments, but we haven't had consistency in that position since Evra. And it's the same with the right back. We haven't really had consistency since, I'd say, Valencia. And Valencia was never really actually a right back.
No, he just played there because he could.
Yeah, because he was strong and he was quick. But he wasn't a right back. But we haven't really had a right back properly since Valencia. You could argue maybe before that Rafael, but I didn't rate him too much.
No, I thought Rafael's one of those players who was good because of his manager.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, he played well because Sir Alex Ferguson was that good.
Yeah, but
like, you know, you look at some of the players who played under Ferguson. You had Darren Fletcher, who not an amazing footballer, but won Champions League, won Premier Leagues. You look at Darren Gibson,
John O'Shea.
Anderson, John O'Shea, Wes Brown.
Talking of Anderson, actually,
yeah,
I read an interview the other day, and I can't remember who it was from. I've got a feeling it was Evra, but I don't hold me to that. Was that the most talented player?
Yeah.
To ever play for, like, that they ever played with at United was Anderson. But the thing is Anderson just enjoyed football. He didn't care enough to be the best. So he would finish a game, he'd go home and have a McDonald's.
Yeah.
Like he just, like, he loved playing football, but it wasn't like his life and death.
No.
So he could have been like the best player ever, but he just, like, I love football. I like playing in games.
Yeah.
But, you know, I'm not.
But at the same time, I just want to live my life.
He just loved life. And do
yeah.
you know what? Fair play to him. I mean, fair play to him. Like, at the end of the day, I've got to admit, like, I think, you know, people always say that, oh, you know, footballers have it easy. They earn, you know, a 6-figure salary every week. And yeah, they do. And yeah, they are very privileged. I'm not saying they're not. But the dedication they have to put in for 15, 20 years of, you know, watching what you eat, watching what you drink, watching what you do, you know, like, I mean, I'm probably a bad example because I used to smoke, but, you know, I can think of friends that have never touched a cigarette in their life. They've gone out and had a few beers and been like, oh, let me have a puff. Had one puff and been like, nah, it's not for me. These footballers will do that, and then cameras caught them, and that's it. They're in shit. You know. You know, the training. Like what a lot of people don't know is the players that are on a bench. So, say for example, you know, Garnacho, Donny van der Beek didn't get on today. Players like that. They have to do a 90-minute warm down.
Yeah.
After a game. Players that, so we played today on a Thursday, we've got training tomorrow, and we've got the day off Saturday. Usually you have the day off before the game.
Yeah.
The players that didn't play will be in an hour earlier.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, this professionalism that you have to keep up for 15, 20 years. Like, the best person to quote on this is, do you watch Ben Foster's The Fozcast?
I've seen bits of it, but I don't. Yeah, I'm not
All right.
bothered.
You should you should go on his channel, because he does a lot of stuff about United, because he loves United. He's United through and through.
Yeah.
And he's obviously without a club. Watford released him, and he's without a club at the moment. I don't know if he's going to join someone today, because he said, but he said that, you know, he obviously does the YouTube stuff now, and he's like, for the first time ever, he's like, do you know what? If I didn't play professional football again, I wouldn't be that upset. He said, because he said, do you know what was really nice about this summer is that if my friend called me up and said, I'm having a barbecue this weekend, do you want to come? He could actually say yes. And think about it. 15 to 20 years of not being able to hang out with your friends properly, you know, just turn up at a barbecue or a family event or a wedding without being monitored. You know, some players, and I've seen it, they have to turn up at weddings and stuff of like their sister or their auntie or whatever, and they have their own bag of food that they have to eat because they're contained to a strict diet. So these players, like, I mean, I know I've been going on about this for a while now, but it's still, I do still think that, you know, yeah, they get paid a lot of money, but they also sacrifice a hell of a fucking lot. You know, to do what they do. And, you know, do I think that half these players deserve the money they're on? Maybe not, but, you know, I'm not a business person. You know, you can't give them $9.50 an hour, can you?
And the amount of money that the football brings in dictates how much they get paid anyway. So the football fans who piss and moan about how much football is it, and it's just like, well, you pay into it, so
it's like
you know, the only reason I've got BT Sport is to watch United. So I am paying into football.
And the only reason I've got BT Sport,
that's how it works.
And the only reason I've got BT Sport is because I steal his.
Yeah. So just some slow sports news here. Official Frenkie de Jong stays at Barcelona.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was from 6 hours ago.
yeah.
Slow sports news. Yeah. I'm just seeing anything new going on. Now, I think it's going to be, you know, other than Liverpool and Chelsea buying, loading in a couple of players, obviously us selling Ghana. I think it's going to be a very quiet last sort of 15 minutes.
Yeah, I mean,
transfer window.
I think with social media nowadays, it's really hard to have those exciting deadline days without it being known beforehand. You know.
Yeah.
Like
so, post-match quote from Ten Hag: "We had 11 players on the pitch who fight for each other. That's it.
That's all you need.
That's it. And also said we're raising a team. They're sticking together. They fight for each other, cooperate. Now we have to step up further. Quite a solid performance. We defend well with 11. The free kick, the moment at the end, we have to avoid that. But we should have been up 2-0. There was so much space on the pitch. Yeah. So I think, you know, it's always about getting that solid base, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think as well, something that is like needs to be touched upon as well, and I think we touched upon it in the live stream of the watch along of the game, is that building blocks. You know, if we can get a solid unit, then you can do the flares and the brilliance after that. Whereas last season we weren't playing as a solid unit, and then there was players trying to be fancy.
Last season we were all over the place.
Yeah, and it's like there's players trying to be fancy, you know, doing Hollywood passes and little flicks and little nudges, and you know, it's like do the simple stuff first.
Yeah.
And I watched Erik Ten Hag's first training sessions that were posted up on social media, the ones that he done in was it America we went to? I think it was America we went to, wasn't it? No, we didn't go to America. We went to Australia.
Yeah.
And Indonesia or Thailand or somewhere like that. But the first, and he was getting us to do those triangle pass and moves because he probably watched a bunch of stuff from us last season and realised we don't move the ball quick enough. We're constantly moving sideways and moving back. And even McTominay, I noticed a couple of times today, and I noticed you picked up on it at one point. But I've noticed it a few times in the last few games as well. That there's times where he's about to pass it back, and then he thinks to himself, "Oh shit, no, I better go forward." Have you noticed that? Yeah. And he kind of second guesses himself.
I think every time McTominay passes it back, he's got like 50 fucking push-ups or something that he's got to do.
he gets fined like $5,000 off his wages.
He gets fined or he gets punished in some way. So every time you pass it backwards, if you've got, if there's a forward pass on, you pass it backwards, you're doing 100 push-ups.
Yeah, because have you noticed that he has that moment where he's about to pass backwards, and he turns around. It's like,
and he goes shit.
Yeah.
And
Honestly, so you can hear the cogs turning. And I noticed that in the last couple of games where he's just like he's thought about it and there's like, actually no, there's a pass forward.
It's still at least he is passing it forwards. It's an improvement on last season, and he didn't pass it sideways very often either today.
No, and I'll tell you there was one moment in the game today that I was really impressed with, and I really like to see, and I think that once we've got that stability, I know you can say our defence is quite stable. But once we've got the stability of that the defence and that is that I can see Martinez making big darts forward with the ball because we saw it today, and sadly his final pass was a bit shit, but he skipped past about 4 players. Yeah. And not only did he skip past 4 players, he'd done it with such ease. Yeah. And he felt so confident.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Like you could see he's confident on the ball.
Yeah.
Just came across an interesting thread as well. I think we should accept that when Ten Hag is willing to run a 30-year-old man with a pacemaker into the ground for 90 minutes, Donny van der Beek might just not be that good.
Yeah. I mean, I could do a whole show on Donny. I've said honestly since we signed him and he just wasn't getting game time. I've always said, we're not flies on the wall. We can't see what happens behind closed doors. I've said that a lot. And I said it with Ollie, and I was like, well, then we had the argument, Ollie likes his favourites. Fair enough. Then Ranić joined, and the same thing happened. And then we're like, well, maybe Ranić doesn't want to mess with the system too much. Then Ten Hag joins, and we're like, well, he knows Donny.
And he still doesn't play him.
Still not even in pre-season.
No.
I think Iqbal and Charlie Savage got more game time than Donny in pre-season.
Yeah. And when a Dutch coach doesn't play a Dutch player, he's just not good enough.
Like the thing is that, but
I think we will just end up selling him.
I still don't know why we've still got him. Like, don't get me wrong. No. I'm sure there's a player in there. There is, and we've seen it for Ajax. But
and he'll probably end up playing in the Europa League this season.
Yeah, but the thing
he probably will.
Is that the one thing that people seem to miss with the whole Donny saga is not just he was good at Ajax, but the Premier League is a different gravy.
Yeah.
Like, he could have gone to Real Madrid and he could have been starting every season. But come on, there's only 2 other teams if you're Real Madrid that you really worry about. Maybe 4 or 5, on a bad day, which, Barcelona, Atletico Madrid, Seville, and Valencia, maybe. Like, that's...
Yeah, I mean, even my football manager thinks he's fairly average.
Yeah, like
I start him a lot, and he's not really doing anything.
Yeah, and
he isn't doing anything.
But the thing is that if a player's not starting under one manager, then maybe it could be favouritism. If it's 2, maybe it's unfortunate. if it's free and that third manager you worked with 3 years ago doesn't start you, there is an issue, and it's definitely not with them, it's with you.
Yeah, yeah, and yes, uh, we can say that surely Ericsson shouldn't be playing in his place in midfield, but Ericsson's class, man. He's just a classy player. Ericsson's so good on the ball, and his range of passing is crazy, and he does all the simple things right all the time.
He's like Ericsson again is like he's one of those signings as well that when we got him, I was like
it was kind of quietly done as well, wasn't it? It's like we've signed Ericsson.
I was like when we just a quick one because I kind of thought he was going to Spurs. I don't know if you heard about this, but Dan James has completed medicals as a new Fulham player.
Yeah, he's a season-long loan, isn't it?
Yeah, but because there was talks yesterday about him going to Spurs.
Spurs, yeah.
But no, anyway, going back to Ericsson, when we signed him, I was over the moon because I watched him play for Brentford last season. Because I mean, just like most of us, we'd seen what happened to him at the Euros. I was watching the game when it happened, and it was fucking terrifying.
I actually missed that game,
Yeah, I was watching it, and I remember being really. I think I spoke to you afterwards. I was really angry and upset because not only did they keep the camera on, and then the Danish players circled round him to block the cameras, but then they started like zooming in on his fucking wife.
No, I know. Oh yeah, no, that was. I did hear about all that afterwards.
It was fucking awful. And the thing is that I'm sure on YouTube somewhere that exists. Not that anyone would fucking ever want to watch it, but BBC never made that game available to watch again because they knew they fucked up.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
So when he came to Brentford, I was like really intrigued to watch him because. Obviously, Inter Milan couldn't have him because Italy have got that rule about people with like pacemakers and stuff, and which I find very interesting because the only reason I know this is because one of my favourite bands of all time is Guns N' Roses, and Slash has a pacemaker, and actually most people with pacemakers can do a lot more than people without one.
Like. Ericsson, like Ten Hag wouldn't be risking Ericsson's life like that.
Exactly, and and the reason, so I thought maybe then I looked into it. I was like, maybe the reason for the Italian rules is because worried about the player's health. No, it's because they see it as an advantage.
Yeah.
So anyway, when he joined Brentford, I did keep a close eye on him, and he was brilliant for Brentford. He really was. And so when we did sign him, I was like, do you know what? He'll be a brilliant player. And do you know what? At the time, I was like, do you know what? How bad Bruno's been, I could actually see him replacing Bruno. But now it seems they work well together.
Yeah, it does. Just one thing quickly, because only about 5 minutes or so to go. How awful was Rashford tonight again? I thought he was. Yes, he got an assist and it was a good pass, but that was he made only about 3 or 4 successful passes in the entire game. He was dreadful.
Yeah, and he had a banana foot touch.
Yeah, he's developed the touch of Lukaku, which isn't good because Lukaku's got the all the grace and passing ability of a hot air balloon. Things just bounce off him, man.
A bit of United news, by the way.
Go on.
Official and confirmed: Tahith Chong joins Birmingham City and leaves Man United on a permanent deal, so it's not a loan.
Okay, well, I mean that's not surprising.
No. He was never good enough.
No, but I think he's a decent Championship level player.
Yeah, he's a good player, just not at that level.
Yeah. It seems that the doors for business at Old Trafford are now firmly shut. Doesn't seem like there'll be any activity, which we didn't think that there would be, to be fair. But yeah, I think the transfer window as a whole has been pretty shocking. All the planning went out the fucking window, didn't it? And just so poorly done. I think there was just so much panic, especially when what's his name? Sir, the guy who was going to buy United.
Ratcliffe.
Yeah, Sir Jim Ratcliffe, who still, I think that's still sort of in the process. It might well be another 6 to 8 months before we hear anything about that. But there's potential that's still kind of going on in the background, I think.
Here's an interesting quote, by the way, from Ten Hag on the transfer window.
Yeah.
But it's funny because it's more about Ronaldo, actually, which may be why he's been on the bench. He said, "We needed a good squad and we needed numbers. There are a lot of games to cover. Once we have Cristiano Ronaldo and Casemiro getting fitter, it will get better still. We need not only a team, we need a squad." So maybe that's why Ronaldo hasn't been starting, because if he didn't do a pre-season, so his match sharpness might not be quite there. So maybe that's why he has been on the bench, or maybe that's just a cover up for the fact that maybe he did want to go. But then again, Ronaldo did say in 2 weeks he was going to reveal all. So I wonder if he doesn't do that, if he doesn't reveal all, then that means he did want to go, but he couldn't find anywhere. If he does reveal all, maybe it's about, the press are full of shit.
But he was always going to stay, and it was just all about fitness, and that he'd had no preseason because of family stuff. Or maybe he's going to come out and talk about the family stuff that happened, and explain why he didn't play, basically.
Yeah.
Never forget, United chose to loan Ighalo instead of spending 20 million on Haaland because it was an easy deal to do. 20 million we could have bought Haaland for.
Yeah, but then again,
don't be fooled, people. Don't be fooled by the Glazers. Do not be fooled.
Oh, that's a nice message from De Gea.
What's that?
He's posted up a tweet.
Yeah.
Of his save from Maddison's free kick. Do you know the one that he pulled out the top corner?
Yeah.
And he said, "This save and the victory is for you, Grandma. Keep watching me flying wherever you are." So God bless to David De Gea, and I'm sorry about your grandma's passing. And I'm sure she's fucking proud of you because player of the season so many years in a row. You've saved our lives a fucking hell of a bunch of times. So
Andre Gomez, who went from Barcelona to Everton, has now gone on loan to Lille for the season. So that's a career that spiraled down and down, isn't it?
Yeah, but if you remember, Andre Gomez was the one that got the really fucking horrific leg break.
Yeah, that's true.
And he just never recovered after that. Even when he got fit, he just never looked like the same player. Because I remember when he joined Everton, everyone was shocked, and actually he was brilliant for Everton. And then he got that nasty leg break. He just never came back from it.
No. Premier League's current net spend this window is just under 1.3 billion.
Fucking hell.
Bednarek has joined Villa from Southampton.
1.3 million. That means like an eighth of this transfer window is nearly us.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of... Oh, Villa have rejected another proposal from Arsenal. Arsenal tried again, and Villa went, "No, we're not selling him. Go away."
Well, it's interesting because maybe they will now because Bednarek has just joined Aston Villa from...
Yeah. So from Southampton, yeah.
From Southampton. So maybe there'll be more...
Oh, there we go. Ten Hag on Casemiro. Casemiro has to get used to a different league. He has achieved everything that you can imagine. Now he's in a different league, and we want to give him the minutes to adapt to that, to his teammates and to the style of football.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yep.
But he looked so calm when he came on.
Yeah. See, I'm absolutely fine with that. If we question his reasons and he gives us a reason, no problem with that at all. Absolutely fine. At least we've got a manager who's being honest.
Now, if we had lost 5 games in a row,
and yeah,
and you know the last 2 games Casemiro started on the bench, then I'd be like a bit like, come on. But
yeah,
we're 3 on the trot. I can't say we played badly in any of those games. In fact, the Liverpool game we played brilliant. Southampton and Leicester today, yeah, left a lot to be desired, but it still wasn't terrible.
and we won with brilliant defending. Because we like under Ole, we played in a similar way, but our defending was always last gasp. Just about squeezing out, defending enough so we could go win the game.
Yeah.
Whereas this is can't get a shot at goal even.
Yeah.
And we go and win 1-0. That's the way to do it because we're not scrapping for 3-2 wins, because that's not good. We're conceding goals then, but at the moment we're not conceding goals. Ten Hag Saturday, Sunday, against Arsenal is a real test for us. We have to be good. We know that. It's a good test to see where we are. Yeah, and if we lose 2-0, 2-1, or 3-1, or 3-2, or lose 1-0, or it's 0-0, or whatever the result is, as long as it's not losing 4 or 5-0 again,
yeah,
then I'm fine with it. If it's we lose 1-0, but we've played pretty well, I will take that. You know what I mean? It's just that Arsenal are the sharpest team in the Premier League right now.
I mean, I think that if we can leave the Man City game and the Arsenal game with at least a fucking point from one of them, I felt. Do you know what? I'm like, fair enough, but I think that I don't know. I think I'm quietly confident about United. I think that I really am. I think that I think we can go and get a result both of those games. We've got a result at Man City before with half the team we've got now. And I think that, honestly, I will say this. I know it's only been 5 games, and even when we lost 4-0 to Brentford, and the reason I burnt my United shirts wasn't because of Ten Hag. It's not because I didn't trust Ten Hag or I was angry with what Ten Hag done. It was all about the Glazers and the slow shit transfer window that it's been. But the last few games and stuff, and the one thing I like about Ten Hag is it's the first manager that I think I've trusted since Fergie.
Yeah.
Because he's the first one that's come out and said, I pick the team, I choose and sign off on the signings.
Yeah.
And I play the style of football I want to play.
And I know what the fuck I'm doing.
And I know what I'm doing. And if it doesn't work out, the fault isn't on anyone else but me. And I like that. From day one, he's taken responsibility. Other managers, Jose Mourinho was the worst. Van Gaal wasn't great at it. But, they would come out in a press conference and be like, so-and-so didn't do this, so-and-so didn't do that, so-and-so didn't do this.
Blame the referee or whatever.
Or blame the referee. And it's like, well, Ten Hag comes out and says, well, we should have done this better, should have done that better, and I'm going to drag them all in for training tomorrow when they were meant to have a fucking day off. I'm going to make them do 100 laps, and not only am I going to make them do 100 laps, but I'm going to do the 100 laps with them.
Yeah.
I don't know if you heard about that.
No, I did. Yeah, and had to stop because he was fucked basically.
Yeah. But at least he got stuck in the trenches.
Exactly. Yeah. So 2 last things before we sign off for the evening. So Haaland is proving the concept that if Ronaldo had gone to City last summer, he'd have gotten 30 to 40 goals minimum. Would have probably been the difference for them in the Champions League too. So us signing Ronaldo over City, we probably accidentally stopped them winning the Champions League. Indirectly is the better word. Indirectly,
Yeah,
stopped them
maybe.
winning the Champions League. And I will credit this tweet because it's a pretty good one. So Stretford Paddock. That's the end of another transfer window. 6 players signed, 47 flights to Barcelona, 68 agreements with Barca, 0 Frankie de Jongs, 83 litres of European lad tears, and -1 Paul Pogba. What do we reckon? Yeah. So it's been a good night. We've signed a backup goalkeeper. We signed Anthony. We beat Leicester 1-0. And
we're fifth in the league.
Fifth in the league. Leeds are set to sign Willie Gnotto from Zurich. Deal almost done. Here we go from Romano. Ten Hag, the defensive skill is the base for winning games. It makes you hard to beat. We have to stick to that. I know we could be better. We were already better than Southampton. I'm sure we'll improve on that fact. Pressing also needs room for improvement. Yeah. See, he's coming out with honest and, dare I say, accurate reviews of his team's performance, and that's really good to see.
Well, yeah, because he doesn't miss a heartbeat. He's writing everything down, like I said.
Exactly, yeah. So yeah, we'll be back on Sunday for the Arsenal game, which is going to be a huge test for this squad.
4:30.
This developing United midfield and defence is going to be tested. Hoping to see Casemiro from the start. It might not happen, but now knowing the reasoning, I think I'm sort of okay with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's been Jay. I've been ALEXI. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time. Peace.